Well, it happened again. Another rotten Douglas fir fell down and landed on the roof of the water tank for the rainwater harvester. I've been away for a couple of weeks. When I came back, and there's a small hole in the roof. The forest hasn't been managed in over 20 years. And so there's a lot of dead wood standing. And a lot of it's close to the workshed. And that means there's a lot of work to do, clearing away all the dead wood near the buildings, the workshed and the cabin. So today I decided I'd try to get rid of this hard side leaner. I don't know if you can see it, but there's quite a hard lean on that. And it's leaning in the direction of the workshed. Now, a few months ago, I took the top off this tree. And that's because with a heavy top, leaning like this, if the tree were to be caught by a strong wind, it would most likely fall over. And as I said, it would fall over right on top of the workshed. The other danger is, if you leave the top on, that when you try to cut it down, it could get hung up in all the other trees that are nearby. So the first thing I did was to take the top off. And that was a good idea, actually, because I found there was a lot of dead wood on top. And so that's quite dangerous. So what I plan to do here is to cut a Sizwell in the tree. Now, a Sizwell will help this tree to swing around and lay down there somewhere. Because it's leaning to one side, the danger is when the hinge breaks, it will tip over in the direction of the shed. You can see it's leaning quite hard. So I'll make a face cut, and in that I'm going to put a Sizwell. The Sizwell will be on the opposite side of the lean. So the tree should turn in the direction of the Sizwell. And that means when it falls down, it'll fall down looking this way to the left slightly. It should turn and rotate and lie down in this empty space. And then I can buck it up. Well, this is my face cut, and you can tell right away that I'm no expert because it's not very clean. And you can also see that the heart of the tree is a little bit rotten. It's a little bit soft, so it was a good idea to try and cut this one down. So somebody with a bit more experience would make this much more neat, right? The bottom of the face cut and the angle going down should all meet evenly here. I put a little bit of a Dutchman in that side. An old logger, Bucking Billy Ray, he said that you don't need a Dutchman. Anyway, I put it in there for belt and braces kind of approach. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cut a Sizwell here. And that's just a notch through here and through here. And that is to allow the tree to swing around. In this case, to swing around to the left as it goes down. That's because the hinge wood stays connected for longer. So the hingwood won't separate right away and it'll stay connected. Whereas on this side where the Dutchman is, as soon as this plate hits the bottom cut, it will break the tree. And so this will break off, and hopefully what will happen is the tree is going to walk around this way and come away from the shed. Now I have to say that this is my first time, so I'm an absolute beginner. So I'm going to take it slow and go easy. I need to make a cut down here, and then I need to make a little plunge cut in here and cut away some of this wood. Right, so we're going to give that a try. Well, that's my attempt at the Sizwell. It's no work of art. Like I say, it's my first go. And also, as I said before, then it looks like the center of that tree is rotten. So it doesn't cut very well, it just disintegrates. Got to be careful with that. Now I've got to cut a hinge on the back here. And the trick is to get the hinge the right depth. I don't want to make it too little hinge, because I want to make sure that this portion of the tree hangs on right until the end, until it gets to here, and so that the tree can swing around a bit. It's okay if the other side breaks, and there's a Dutchman in there anyway, so there'll be less hinge wood. Well, I don't know if that was dumb luck or what, but the tree landed spot on the money, exactly where I wanted to put it. Avoiding those overhanging branches and not crashing down on that young cedar there. And you can see how the Sizwell works, because here there's a lot of extra hinge wood left on. So the tree was hanging onto this wood as long as it could, and there was space because there's this empty void here. That's the well. And that meant that the tree could break on the far side and then swing around to avoid the shed and the water tank. Now you can see here there's a little bit of fibers left. So the tree was hanging on to this. I was wondering why that was, because the hinge isn't too thick really. I think what it is that the center of this tree is completely rotten. Look at that. So what happened was this broke first, and that was all that it was hanging on to. So it was a good choice to take this tree down. As you can see, the center of the tree is completely rotten. So that was a really good choice to get rid of this tree. But I'm really pleased with that. Now, as I said before, then this is the very first time I've ever used a Sizwell to swing a tree, a hard leaner. And the problem was it was leaning in the wrong direction. It was leaning exactly where I didn't want it to go. And as I said, I've got no experience in this. It wasn't because of my ability or skill. It's because I paid attention to the experts. And they're online. You can get all the information you need. For example, here in British Columbia, there's a guy called Billy Bucking Ray. And he tells you exactly what you need to do with a tree and how to do it. And there's plenty of really good videos. But that's not enough. First, you've got to study what people say until you understand the technique that they're presenting. Then you've got to contemplate on it. You've got to think about it for yourself until you become sure about exactly what to do. For example, with this Sizwell, you have to know which side of the tree to cut it on. And the final stage is actually to put it into practice. And it's based on putting it into practice that you gain experience. And then eventually, when you've got enough experience, you become an expert. And an expert, I'm not. I'm a beginner. This is my first time. So anyway, thanks for bearing with me and watching this video. Until next time, then see you later. Okay, now if you excuse me, then I'm going to buck up this tree. Got a lot of work to do yet. Well, it looks like the center of that tree's good. Good solid Douglas fir. So I think what I'm going to do, rather than just turn this into firewood, I'm going to make a few beams out of that. I think I'll probably do that freehand. So I need to cut it to length and then take the bark off.